You know that feeling, right? It's one of the most powerful, most primal human emotions. That burning desire to make someone pay for what they did to you. We've all been there. It feels as natural as breathing. But what if I told you the best way to handle it comes from wisdom that's thousands of years old? What if the answer isn't to fight fire with fire, but something else entirely?
I mean, have you ever been really wronged, lied to, betrayed, maybe even publicly humiliated? Of course you have. It's just part of being human. And in that exact moment, what's the very first thought that just flashes into your mind?
Let's just picture this scenario. You pour weeks, maybe months, into a project. Then, in the big presentation, your colleague stands up and presents your key ideas as their own. All the praise goes to them, and you're just sitting there completely invisible. And seething. That feeling, that raw, white-hot injustice, it screams for payback.
Okay, so that feeling is totally universal. But for literally millennia, ancient wisdom has offered this radical, almost shocking counter-command to that instinct. An instruction that seems to go against everything our gut is screaming at us to do.
So let's take a look at this piece of advice from the book of Proverbs. It starts with a super direct order. Do not say, I will repay evil. It's telling us to shut down the revenge plot before it even gets off the ground. But that second half is the real key. Wait for the Lord, and He will save you. So, what does wait actually mean here?
Well, the original Hebrew word is kaveh, and this is not about just sitting on your hands and doing nothing. Not at all. It means to wait actively, with this kind of hopeful expectation, almost like a rope being pulled tight with tension. It's about an active trust that justice will be handled, just not by you.
So why? Why is this ancient advice so insistent that we hold back? Why command us to stop something that feels so natural? It's because it understands this deeply destructive pattern that retaliation almost always kicks off. Every single revenge cycle starts right here, with a genuine offense. Somebody does something that causes real harm. They steal your credit, they spread a lie, they break a promise. The pain is absolutely real.
And this is the critical next step. Our own mind tells us that striking back is an aggression. No, it's justice. We feel completely and totally justified in what we're about to do. We tell ourselves, hey, I'm not starting a fight, I'm just balancing the scales.
But here's the trap. Our justified payback is seen by the other person as a brand new attack, which they now feel justified in retaliating against. And that, my friends, is how you get an escalation spiral. It's this tit-for-tat that just spirals out of control until the damage is catastrophic, destroying relationships, teams, you name it.
Okay, so if it's so destructive, why does the urge feel so incredibly powerful? Right? Well, to understand that, we need to look at the hardware we're all running on. We've got to look inside our own brains.
Think of it like this. You've got two competing systems in your head. The moment you're wronged, your amygdala, let's call it the hot reactor, it just lights up. It's your brain's alarm system, and it's screaming, threat, fight back, now. But at the very same time, your prefrontal cortex, the cool thinker, is trying to chime in and ask, whoa, hold on a sec. What are the long-term consequences here? Is this really a good idea? That powerful urge for revenge, that's just the sound of the hot reactor completely drowning out the cool thinking.
Now, this hot reactor isn't some kind of design flaw. It's more like an evolutionary hangover. For our ancestors living in small groups, a reputation for retaliating was actually a survival tool. It sent a clear message, don't mess with me. It helped enforce the rules. But in our complex modern world, that exact same impulse often leads us straight into that destructive escalation spiral.
Okay, so we're basically wired for revenge, but we know it's a trap. So what do you actually do in that moment? The answer isn't just to try to be better. It's to have a preloaded, practical plan ready to go.
Psychologists call this an if-then plan, and it's amazingly effective. You decide ahead of time exactly what you're going to do. If I feel that white-hot anger rising up, then I will physically walk away. Go to the break room, a quiet hallway, anywhere. And I will just focus on my breathing for 1 minute. That's it. Simple.
And here's why this little plan works so well. It's basically a neurohack. Physically leaving cuts off the trigger. Focusing on your breath calms your body's physiological alarm system. This creates just enough of a pause for that hot reactor to quiet down and for your cool thinker to come back online and grab the steering wheel.
Now, this is a super important point. This ancient wisdom isn't telling you to become a doormat, not at all. It's drawing a really sharp line between two very different things. On one side, you've got private vengeance. This is driven by your personal anger. The goal is to harm someone, like spreading rumors about them. The proverb says no to that. But on the other side, you have public justice. This is based on objective rules. Its goal is to restore fairness, like reporting misconduct to HR. That is not forbidden.
So, when we put all this together, you can see we're faced with a pretty profound choice. It's not a choice between doing something and doing nothing. It's a choice between two very different kinds of action.
So let's just quickly recap the game plan. First, acknowledge the feeling. It's powerful and it's real. Then, understand it's just a biological impulse, not an order you have to obey. This is how you avoid that destructive escalation spiral by using a simple plan to create that cooling off period. And finally, you can make a clear choice. Am I seeking personal vengeance or am I pursuing public justice?
And this really is the ultimate takeaway. Refusing to get into a personal payback war isn't weakness, it's actually immense strength. It's the difference between being a slave to your most primitive impulses and choosing a wiser, more constructive path that actually solves the problem instead of making it a million times worse.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time it happens, and it will happen, when that person betrays you or that friend lets you down and you feel that familiar fire of rage, remember the spiral. Remember your brain's two systems. And then ask yourself, will I choose the chaotic reaction or the wise action? Which path will you choose?